Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra, and I make minimalist videos. Today's minimalistic video is going to be 5 minimal ways on how you can save money. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo. I feel like this video is a little bit short, so I'm just going to throw in a little bit of an intro. I just wanted to put a little background information. I always add these. In my minimalism journey, the initial reason that I got started on minimalism, if you've been watching my channel for some time, was actually to use it as a tool to help my financial journey along. I figured if I wasn't spending money on buying stuff, I'd have more money to pay back my student loans and kind of get ahead in life and buy stocks. So it has definitely paid off beautifully. I'm very happy. I've definitely bought a lot of stocks that brought back in a lot of money. I don't have a lot of clutter, so traveling between Canada, China, and Taiwan, Korea, and Japan has been very smooth and easy. I never worry about my material possessions. It's been really good, and I feel very comfortable with the money habits that I have developed throughout the years. And I figured, you know, my analytics show that a lot of my viewers are very young, I think like 18 to 24. So I figured if I could offer some tips to the younger generation, these are tips that I wish that someone had shared with me. I think I would have been a lot better with my money instead of spending it on an IKEA vanity. So without further ado, here are my 5 minimal money tips to help you save money. Number 1, be intentional with your purchases. When you go to the store or you make any purchases, ask yourself, is this item bringing value to your life, or is this making your life easier in any way? There's many reasons why we buy things, and I think it'd be good to consider purchasing things that it adds value, makes your life easier, is helping you accomplish something versus something that you might have bought just because it was on sale, or you're bored, or you're angry, or you're trying to fill in some kind of void. Number 2, don't impulse buy. This one is a good one because impulse buying, sometimes we might feel a certain kind of way when we're buying something, or might buy something just because it's on sale, which is a little bit different from buying something that you were going to buy anyway, but now you're just buying it because it's on sale. So it's good to kind of help differentiate the difference between these two. When you buy something, you can ask yourself, were you going to buy this at full price? If the answer is yes, then you got a bargain. If no, you might reconsider the purchase. Another tip that I have about this is you can go home and you can sleep on it. Some people say sleeping on is not long enough. You can take maybe a month, maybe half a year. What I do is I sleep on it for a season. I know it's a bit long, but if it's still there and I still want it, I consider purchasing it. Number 3, know how much is in your accounts. It's important to know how much is in your checking account and your savings account. If you have stocks, know how much is there. It's good to understand how much is coming in, how much is coming out. I would suggest getting organized about these things. That way there's like no emotion attached to it. There's no like, you think it might be this or you think it might be that. So for example, I have an app where I record how much I spend per month, and I also have an app for recording my income. Back when I did have part-time jobs, and I would kind of like look at the resources, and I'd also make categories for spending like food, rent, clothing, fun money, expenses that you might have. I didn't have a car. I had a bike, an electric bike, so it actually didn't cost me anything. So once you see these things, you'll kind of have an idea, okay, this needs to be allotted here and this needs to be allotted there. If you have student debt, it's good to know what your interest is, how much you owe each month, how much you still have left on your principal. Getting organized about these things helps create a little bit of a clear plan about how you want to go about doing things, and it'll help prevent for less necessary spendings. There was an error with my student loans, and it ended up and because of an error on their part, they charged me $100. So being aware of these things will help in the long run save you money. Number 4, focusing on non-spending habits. I think this one is really important to help save money. There's a lot of things you can do that's fun, that is free. You can go out in nature. Being out in nature is free. Be creative and do creative things with things that you already have. You don't necessarily need to go out and purchase more crafts for these things. You can paint, you can sing, you can dance. There's a lot of things you can do that's creative that doesn't involve spending money. You can also help out others. You can volunteer your time. You can help out a loved one that you know might be like doing some stuff or going through some stuff. You can go and help them, and all of these things are just as equally fulfilling as going to the mall and shopping, if not more. Number 5, liabilities versus assets. Let me just quickly say what each is if you've never heard of these terms before. Assets are things that bring in money, and liabilities are things that cost you money. An asset might be your house, although not necessarily. Maybe if you have a song that's very famous and it pays you royalties, that would be an asset. A liability would be, say, a jacuzzi. you have to pay for its maintenance. And I don't think, unless you rent out the jacuzzi is probably not going to make you money, but you have to spend money to keep it running and the initial cost of buying it. Okay, so now that we know what those two are, I think if you feel you really want to spend some money, but you're trying to save money, you could purchase assets. So if you have some spare cash, you might consider buying property or renting out your property. You could consider buying stocks. You could consider buying bonds. There's a lot of things you can buy out there that you've spent money on, which in turn will generate more money for you. So of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but you could definitely do some research, and there's lots of channels out there on YouTube and lots of information on the internet that could help you with your financial goals. So if you feel like you still have like a shopping bug, you could consider purchasing assets instead of liabilities. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video. These are my 5 minimal money saving tips. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, check out my Instagram at Mignon Cobra for more Mignon Cobra goodness, and thank you so much for having taken the time to watch, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.